Welcome to European Railway issue number 68, the DVD magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this programme we visit Luxembourg to sample action on the line to the east of Schifflange. A trip to Austria to view nighttime activity through the town of Pörtschach to the west of Klagenfurt. We visit eastern Slovenia to view the last few days of these operations on the line to Hodoš. Southern Poland is our next port of call as freight and passenger workings feature to the southwest of Krakow. A brief stopover is made to the south of Toulouse, France, to view early morning commuter train activity. Central Germany is our next location as trains and traction are running around the town of Eichenberg. And finally to Switzerland, as the main rail route to the Vossloh is witnessed as we call into two stations, including Eichenberg, not far from Lineside. We begin the programme with a visit to southern Luxembourg and to the main line running east from Esch-sur-Alzette towards Bettembourg. The line has a regular passenger service and sees numerous freight services, mainly serving the nearby steel mills. We begin just west of Schifflange station, next to the convenient road crossing adjacent to the steel mills at Arbet Esch Schifflange. Approaching the camera on the 3rd of June is the 0945 from Rodange to Luxembourg City, made up of Bombardier Dosto double-deck stock and Class 4000 electric locomotive number 4013 on the rear. In addition to local haul train sets, Class 2200 Coradia duplex EMUs are also to be found working stopping services throughout the country. This is unit number 2210. One of CFL's 14 Robel IIF departmental machines heads east for Bettembourg Yard just 3 minutes later. Local freight traffic is dominated by these Vossloh G1206 diesel locos, leased from MRCE. This one, number 1588, is equipped for working into France. It is heading a loaded scrap train for the ArcelorMittal works at Belval at just after 10:30. Heading east is number 1506. This one is from a batch of 6 equipped for working into Germany. In total, CFL has 14 of these locos on hire. At Schifflange station, number 4014 is about to depart with the 1035 from Luxembourg to Hodoš. Stopping services operate to a 15-minute frequency in each direction along this line. The Class 4000 locomotives are similar to DB's Class 185s. A total of 20 make up CFL's fleet, with 16 allocated to the passenger sector and the 4 remaining ones used on freight services to and from Germany. There are 18 Class 3000 electrics also in use on the country's passenger trains. One more is leased to CFL Cargo, with another withdrawn after severe fire damage. This is number 3018. There's a convenient overbridge just to the east of Schifflange station, which offers this view of the 1036 from Hodoš to Luxembourg, with number 4016 on the rear. In the opposite direction we see number 4010. After dropping off its trainload of scrap, number 1588 returns to the yard at Bettembourg. We now move location to a point just west of Bettembourg, as Belgian Cargo's Class 13, number 1322, is seen heading light engine in the direction of Schifflange. The 1145 from Hodoš to Luxembourg City has just departed the station at Neertzange as it heads east, powered at the rear by number 4014. In the far background can be glimpsed the steelworks at Belval. Finally, number 4009 is in charge of the 1220 from Luxembourg to Rodange. We head southeast now and to Austria, as we spend an evening on the main line linking Villach with Klagenfurt. Our chosen location is the town of Pörtschach am WörtherSee, just north of the lake. The line is double-tracked and sees intercity, local passenger and long-distance freight services passing through. The first train we see is EC30, the 1559 from Venice to Vienne, headed by tri-voltage electric number 1216 Next up is a local stopping service formed by Class 4024 unit number 122. The service in question is the 1724 from Linz in Osttyrol to Friesach. The train serves no less than 43 intermediate stations on its journey. New Class 476 electric units on order will soon spell the end for much of the push-pull locomotive-operated coaching stock seen throughout the country. An example of which is seen here, as 1144097 pauses for the station stop, with the 1912 from Sankt Veit to Villach. The 1622 railjet service from Vienne calls at the station at 8:30. Heading the service on this night is locomotive number 1116238. Just 4 minutes behind was 1144005 on westbound fuel tanks. (11:44.097) is seen once again, this time returning from Villach with the 2020 service to Friesach. Finally, 1116191 heads west with empty stock bound for Villach, where it will be fed and watered overnight. We shall look at this line again in a future edition of European Railway. We now move to the neighbouring country of Slovenia and a look at the single-track main line linking Pragersko with Hodoš. Our locations begin with scenes just to the south of Morská Sobota and down to Lojitomer, before we look at the route further south between there and Ormož. Over the past 5 years, the line has been electrified, and an official handing over date was scheduled for the 12th of June 2016. This day would also see the process of electric traction, replacing some of the traditional diesel traction that has been used on both passenger and freight services along this line. This section looks at action in the final few days before the official switchover. It is expected that many of the diesel locomotives will be here today, gone tomorrow. Following along behind is another ER20 diesel, this time number ER20 005. The loco is seen at work shuttling this car train between the port of Koper and Hodoš. The line here was opened as a single-track railway as far back as 1924, an extension of the line up from Ormož. A daily pickup freight operates along the route, and this is usually handled by a Class 644 diesel. Here number 644016 heads south, away from Małżeńska Sobota, on the 9th of June 2016, bound for Pragersko. As vegetation is cleared away from the buildings here at Lipovci, Class 813 diesel unit number 813112 calls with the 0700 from Maribor to Małżeńska Sobota. In the background we can see ER20005 returning with a container train bound for Koper. Most of the longer distance freight services are expected to go over to electric traction, whilst the local passenger services will in all likelihood remain in the hands of diesel units. Moving south, and we are at the junction with the Małżeńska Sobota line and the freight-only track down to Górnia Radgowna near Lodzi Tomar, as 713126 rounds the curve, forming the 945 from Małżeńska Sobota to Maribor. In theory, the unit is in a green and cream livery. It's taken a while, but here it is, our first view of a Class 664 diesel, a type so popular with European railway enthusiasts. Heading a container train bound for Koper is 664111. The loco will give way to an electric at the junction at Pragersko. Built in Germany and introduced into traffic in 1970 for longer distance services, the Class 711 once numbered 10. Today only around 5 remain in traffic. This is number 013. The units owe their origin to the DB Class 624s. Some units were refurbished in the late 1970s, when they also had their original engines replaced and were repainted from brown into this green colour scheme. The 664s also worked the daily passenger turn, the 0845 from Ljubljana to Budapest. This is 664-118, with the first coach half filled with haulage bashers, and who can blame them? Moving south, and we are at Mekoniak station, as the midday peace is absolutely shattered by the return of 664-108, which is working this Koper-bound container service to Pragersko. This is Ormosh, as 813036 slows for the station stop, with the 1225 from Maribor to Morska Sobota. To the east of the town, ER20005 coasts downhill, with a loaded car train which it will take to the port of Koper. 713-126 rounds the curve on its way to Morska Sobota, as the 1550 departure from Ormosh is seen in the far distance on its way to Seredistje. With the border with Croatia just across the river, the distant mountains towards Pigorets can be seen as 664-108 storms around the corner with a container train bound for Hungary. Driver training on Class 310 units was underway when we visited on the 9th of June. Here 310-005, with special vinyls advertising the electrification of the line, heads north past Mekoniak. The following morning, the 10th of June, and 664-102 climbs up the grade from Ormosh to Mekoniak with a northbound freight. I'm sure the local residents will miss these locos compared to the much quieter electrics that will replace them. Dropping down the grade is 715122, forming the 945 from Morska Sobota to Maribor. The train is approaching the Huibar road crossing. The morning trip to Pragersko is worked once again by 644016. Now that electrification of the line is complete, the daily Ljubljana to Budapest intercity service is now normally worked by a Class 342 electric. On the 10th of June, diesel number 664108 was in charge. "20 minutes later, and 644120 pulls away from the station area at Lipovci with a southbound freight for Pragersko. A few hundred metres further south, and 711014 heads this service for Maribor. Finally, we leave you with the unmistakable sound of a Class 664, as number 108 powers south with the 0830 from Budapest to Ljubljana. The railways of the former Eastern Bloc countries now offer some of the best traction variety in Europe, as investment in new rolling stock falls behind those better off countries further west. In this section, we sample modern and heritage traction at the junction station at Czechowice-Dziedzice, southeast of Katowice. To the west is the route to Ostrava in the Czech Republic. To the north, the line to Katowice, and northeast the route towards Auschwitz and onwards to Krakow. Freight action makes up around half of the movement seen. Heading west for the Ostrava line is SM42 diesel number 688. The date is the 15th of June 2016. Approaching the camera is locally based Class EN57 unit number 3002. This unit once belonged to Slovenian Railways as 315003. It was brought to Poland in 2008 and refurbished, including the fitment of new cabs. The main locomotive depot, including roundhouses, is situated on the left. SM 42903 had brought in a local trip freight before retiring to the stabling point. EN 57-1402 is another unit operating for regional train operator Czechowice-Dziedzice. Built in 1980, the unit has spent much of its career working in the southern half of the country. Here it arrives with a 1504 service from Katowice. 20 Alstom Pendolino high-speed trains were delivered to PKP Intercity during 2014 and 2015. These are virtually identical with the Italian and the Swiss ETR 610 and also the RABE 503 units. Here set number 7 is working the 1548 Bielsko-Biała to Gdynia. The train heads off on the route northwest towards Katowice. SA 109005 entered traffic on the 1st of July 2004 and following refurbishment in 2012 it now works for Czechowice-Dziedzice. Here it is seen arriving with a service from Szczecin, close to the border with the Czech Republic. There are 53 of these EN76 electric units at work within Poland, of which the first 9 operate for Czechowice-Dziedzice. Here unit number 7 approaches the camera with the 1434 from Katowice. The unit was released into traffic on the 17th of June 2011 from manufacturers Pisa, a company born out of the former PKP repair shops at Bydgoszcz. This is one of 4 Class EN75 4-car units ordered by KS from Stadler. The units originally entered service with PKP Regional Railways around Katowice in October 2008. When you see all of these fairly modern train sets on view, you could be fooled into thinking that the country's railways are bang up to date. Although there has been a few new trains ordered, the majority of trains at work in the country date from the late 1970s and early 1980s, and certainly the infrastructure is very much in need of extensive modernisation. number 36WEA008, is one of 3 members of this class, working for Czechowice-Dziedzice, being built by Nuvag in 2014. You see, there is some older stuff knocking about. Take this EN57 unit for example, number 1160. Built in 1977 by Pfefferwagen in Wrocław, it spent time with PKP first, allocated to Warszawa in 1978, then to Bydgoszcz in 1999, before joining Czechowice-Dziedzice in 2013. And to give credit where credit is due, it has obviously been repainted recently, still in its old colours, which is a real nice touch. OK, time for some freight. Former PKP Intercity Electrics numbers EU07 499 and 493 are now owned by Aspect Miroslav Zielinski, after they were offered for sale by PKP in 2015. After refurbishment, they have been put into use on freight traffic. Here they are seen heading a westbound set of coal empties. PKP Cargo EU 071517 is next on the scene. This is the original EU 07416, built in 1986 and entering traffic on the 30th of September that same year. It was modernised in 2011 when it became number 1517. You can expect around 4 freight trains per hour through here, as well as a number of light loco movements. ET22-1133 is seen heading west on stainless steel tanks. The loco was built by Paffer Wag in Wrocław in 1988 and was subsequently allocated to Kielce shed in December of that year. Prior to being allocated to the Central Cargo Pool in 2015, it was previously based at Lublin. Number EN 57655 entered traffic on the 30th of August 1967, being allocated to Bydgoszcz throughout its career, except for a short move to Szczecin shed in 2012. EU 1525 makes a noisy entrance as it heads towards the depot for stabling. This is the original EU 07213. Built in 1972, it was first allocated to Kutno on the 24th of October that same year. It was renumbered to number 1525 on the 24th of May 2013 following refurbishment. Finally, we see EN 57302, returning with the 1637 from Katowice to Zwardon. Our material for this section was filmed over the course of 2 hours, between 3:30 and 5:30. We head for France now and some commuter traffic to the south of Toulouse. Early morning in southern France and the day's workers have a grey and overcast sky to start their day. We are at Kézère, not far from the Pyrenees foothills. With the security situation in France on high alert following terrorist attacks, filming anywhere near to a station would attract the attention of the authorities, so it is in the countryside to the north of the town that we head. First up is a pair of Z27-500 3-car units working the 0637 from Montreux to Toulouse commuter service. The Z7300 2-car units dating from the early 1980s are now on borrowed time. 13 members of the class are employed on local workings in the Midi-Pyrenees area, including this one, number Z7306. Withdrawn on the 7th of June 2016 after 43 years in traffic, number 8606 heads north with the 0726 from Bussons. Thankfully, at least for the time being, local hauled services still operate on this line. This is number 7214 on the 0546 from Pau. This is the 0727 from Toulouse to Tarbes. Z7306 is seen once again, heading north some 2 kilometres north of Kézère, forming the 0800 from Bussons. Sister unit number Z7310 heads south, forming the 0740 from Toulouse to Montreux. The date is the 16th of February 2016. Finally, heading one of the rare freight services on this line is E4000 diesel number 4017, hauling a northbound loaded stone train. The time is just after 8:30. Germany is our next stopover as we travel to the centre of the country and to Eichenberg, not far from the locomotive manufacturing city of Kassel. We show 2 of our 3 locations here on this map. The first takes us to Hessenau and the second to the station at Eichenberg. Our third location is a little way further south out of range of this map. We begin at Hessenau as Class 143 number 857 heads west with a service from Halle to Kassel. Following along behind are EVB Logistics locos V2104 and V2102. Westbound trains seem to dominate during our visit. Here we see 612022 and 002. (642.023) heads east towards the camera with a service for Erfurt. The line sees around 4 passenger services per hour, as well as at least 1 freight service each way per hour on weekdays. We visited on a Sunday. (642.037) heads west. We now move to the mainline junction town at Eichenberg. This is the main station building. Eichenberg station originated from the opening of the Arnshausen-Hahn-Munden section of the Halle-Kassel line in 1869. In 1876 the Niederhoney-Eichenberg-Friedland section of the Bebra-Göttingen railway was completed, and it was then that Eichenberg became a railway junction. Returning to Halle is 143857. Class 193 Vectron electrics are now an everyday sight on this line. Heading north and coming off the Kassel route is 193841 with a container train bound for Hamburg. Many local rail services are operated by the private company Cantus. Cantus refers to a steel rail wheel tyre. This is unit number 427001 on a service for Bebra. Freight traffic dominates on this route, such as in this example with 185230. Viewed from the road overbridge to the south of the station, 193857 heads a long train of car parts in enclosed wagons. Delivered to MRCE in 2014, the loco was being hired to Private Car Train Limited when this scene was taken. Heading north is 642137 on the 1303 Castle to Erfurt service. (155.063) is now stored serviceable, but was in charge of this Castle to Halle mixed freight when filmed in late 2015. Finally, we travel some 26 kilometres further south as we see 152126 passing through Eichenberg with a mixed freight heading towards Bebra. Our final section in this programme takes us to Switzerland and to the busy line that links off Marzingen on the Zurich to Olten main line with Rotkreuz on the Zurich to Lucerne line. The route covered is also part of the Gotthard main line down from Basel. We begin the feature at the combined station of Dottikon-Dintikon, as 923006 is seen in the middle of shunting duties on Monday the 6th of June 2016. Appearing through the heat haze is 11177, heading south towards Rotkreuz. Local services between Rotkreuz, Lenzburg and Aarau are operated using Class 521 and 523 Stadler units. This is a service for Aarau. Freight traffic is busiest between a Tuesday and Saturday, and can result in 3 to 4 trains each hour per direction. Heading north we see 11307 leading 11610 and 2 Cirsa Class 843 diesels in tow. Five 23037 departs the station forming the 1451 from Aarau to Rotkreuz. Trans-Europe Express Unit number 1053 played a starring role at the new Gotthard Tunnel Open weekend when it was displayed at Erstfeld on 4th and 5th of June 2016. Here it returns to its base in Olten. We now move to the junction station serving the small town of Henschiken, as unit number 523051 arrives in the pouring rain with a service from Aarau to Rotkreuz. The date is Thursday the 17th of October 2015. Heading north is 11189 with this trip freight. At the time of our filming, the DB Class 185s, which normally work wagon load freights from and to Germany, could not work over the Gotthard line due to lack of the correct ETCS signalling equipment. Whilst this was fitted, SBB motive power was used, such as seen here with 11619 on a DB cargo train number 45,000 from Chiasso to Mannheim. (11290) is seen scuttling south. As 11624 makes its way towards the camera, a DB ICE service from Kiel to Zurich is seen passing on the main line from Olten to Zurich. The freight in question is train number 45001 from Mannheim to Chiasso. As it enters the station, it is seen being passed by 11288 and 11366. This is locomotive number 11626. (11685) and 11330, 11330 being one of only 3 Class 420s left in this green livery, enters the station from the Othmarsingen lines with an intermodal from the Basel direction. The intermodal freight was awaiting a free path south once the 1551 from Aarau to Rotkreuz had passed, formed by unit number 523011. Heading trip freight number 50573 from Dotikon Dintikon is 923004. Following along behind are 11632 and 11361, hauling train 67748, the 1153 Sigirino to Huntvangen Vil Holcim Stonehoppers. (523052) arrives in the emerging sunshine, with the 1637 from Lensburg to Muri. 465015 heads train 50512 from San Antonio to Oenzingen. There were 8 freight trains per hour during our early evening stopover. Number 11255 is seen heading north. Our final scene in this programme sees 11628 slowing for a pathing stop, heading a southbound freight, made up mainly of loaded car carriers. This is a busy rail line, seeing plenty of freight and local passenger workings, and is well worth a visit. As the train passes, we hope once again that you have enjoyed watching this edition of European Railway.